right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Today is August 4th, 2020. This is episode number 64. And today we're going to take a look at two traits. So we're going to take a look at trait 33, really the gift of remembrance. And we're going to take a look at trait 7 as well, taking a look at leadership. Not only that, we're going to do the weather forecast for August. Since we've switched into August, we'll take a look at what August is going to look like. So before we jump in and get started, we have a lot of special guests today. So really excited to have our team together. Both Rob and Natalie are on vacation. And so we have some special guests that have stepped up to join us. So first, Leanne, welcome, Leanne. So great to have you here.
Thank you, and I appreciate being requested again. I love it. Thanks.
Yay!
Be fun.
Great to have you here. And of course, Chris, welcome, Chris.
Unmute. Hey, everyone, welcome. I'm so excited. This is going to be, what an awesome group of women we have today. I cannot wait to hear the wisdom that is on this panel today. It is awesome. You guys are in for a treat.
Welcome. Yes, absolutely. Well, welcome, Chris. And we have Tuck. Welcome, Tuck. It is so great to have you join us.
I was going to say, I didn't only step up, I'm actually sitting on a pillow since I'm so short. So I didn't only step up, I'm sitting up. Happy to be here.
Great to have you, Tuck. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Anna, welcome, Anna.
Hi, I appreciate being here. This will be fun.
Yay! So as Chris mentioned, we have an amazing team today, and we're going to dive in deep to quite a few things today. So let's, without any further ado, let's jump in. My name is Karen Sherwood, and welcome. So we have been over the past few months taking a look at our journey through form. And our journey through form ends, and it ends today. So it ends with the 4 collective voices. So we took a look at the details, the facts, the I think. We've taken a look at stimulation, which is about stories, the I believe. And we took a look last week at influence in the 31, the focus on the future in I lead. Today, we're going to take a look at retreat. And in taking a look at retreat, it is the focus on the past. This is about I remember. So this is where we've been in the past week. So if things have felt a little slow, felt like you just wanted to retreat, you're in the perfect place. That's what's been happening. So we're in the 33.6 today. Also, I just found it interesting. We'll talk more about this. We talked about, I believe, a couple weeks ago, right? The stories. That's where we are in communication right now in the 56. I also thought it interesting with the values were in the 12. We took a look at the 12 not too long ago as well. And this is a part of our values. This is also going to be part of what we're moving towards as well. And I think actually the arrow, I meant to have it at the 51 actually, just taking a look at the maturing energy, because the maturing energy is also in shock or in initiation. So just to kind of get a feel for what's going on right now. And with that, I also wanted to just kind of take a look at, let me see, wait, hold on. What do I want to do here? Yeah, we'll take a look here at in August as well. So what I'm going to do is go through what August is all about. And then I want to talk a little bit about the political mechanics of the 7, because it's also about leadership, where we're moving towards as well. So we're really in fascinating times. Now, before I move on, is there anything for Leanne or Chris or Tuck or Anna that just is there right now that you want to share before we jump into just taking a look at sort of the broad picture of taking a look at the weather forecast for August?
It'll
on the edge of my seat.
I'm okay, Karen, if you want to if you want to pop into August, and then
All right.
we
I'm going to
can
pop
play.
into August first, and then I'm going to come back and we'll take a look at some of the political mechanics as well, because we can kind of see, we sort of talked a little bit about those, you know, kind of taking a look at leadership over the last few weeks. And I wanted to also kind of give us a broader context as well as in taking a look at the August weather report. And what I mean by that is kind of taking a look at sort of what's up or what we can expect, or, you know, what the background frequency is going to be for this month, just to get a sense. So starting tomorrow, or the 5th or the 6th, depending on where you live, we have an environmental shift. We also have a life purpose theme shift as well. So there's a major shift that's happening this week. So the environment shifts. Now, remember, we have been in taking a look at behavior of ourselves, right, with the 10, and also the love of self, but also the love of humanity, which is also about extremes. So if you take a look at what we have been seeing, right, since March, is we've seen extremes, we've seen, you know, a shift in how we behave, things have shifted and changed. This week, the environment shifts. So this is going to be really, this is the first time that for myself personally that I've really been consciously aware of looking at this, right? I've been doing BG5 for a long time, but I've just never really paid attention to this particular aspect. So this week, the environment shifts into peace, ideas, action, as well as temptation and caution. So it moves into the 11 and the 12. Now, when we take a look at the 11 and the 12 as oppositions, when we take a look at it, for example, in a life work theme, we took a look at that a while ago. This is also the life work theme of Eden, or experience. So if we take a look at what the story of Eden was all about, right? It was about temptation. It was about gaining knowledge. And again, this is sort of action tempered with temptation and also caution as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the environment changes, you know, what the world is talking about, how we feel, right, when we go through this shift. So the way the environment can become healthier is when meditation and when there's meditation and assessment before taking action, right? That's going to be part of the environment as well. Also, purpose is fulfilled through connecting with others, so bonding and relationships. So we're moving out of form, right? So the last few months, we've really been focused on purpose fulfilled through form, taking a look at, you know, it really, in a sense, the material world, building, creating, you know, or not on the other side. And we're moving into a time where it's really about connection, bonding, and relationships. Also, what's very interesting is for this entire month, there are going to be two strengths that are defined. The two strengths that are going to be defined is we've been in this inner truth and searching for inner truth, but we're also going to have this strength of socialness, which is also going to be defined as well. Tuck, who has joined us, has this particular strength, so looking forward to sharing more about that and hearing more about that from you, Tuck. And it's very interesting if we take a look at what's hidden. What's hidden is in the 22. Right? The 12 is activated in it. So it's almost like what's hidden is now being given a voice. So again, it'll be interesting to see what unfolds over this month, but this is just to kind of give you a flavor for that. And I know, Leanne, you take a look at, you know, the weather report, the background frequency quite a bit as well. I was wondering if there's anything that you would like to add or share.
I think what's fun is the whole mutative process that's taking place for us. There's so much shifting. You know, when we can see the mechanics of it, we can, you know, bring ourselves back and watch how this is playing out on, you know, in the business world, on our planet, in humanity. It really is. How is this mutation, you know, coming in to each individual on the planet? That, I think, is really important to see. Watching what is everybody's inner truth. Are they actually following their inner truth? And Or are they taking the opinions of the collective and making that their truth? You know, so I think that it's really important when we see the mechanics is to just be able to witness it in a whole new way. So thanks for asking.
Absolutely. And Tuck, you have this particular strength of the 2212, and this is the strength of socialness when you're in the mood or not, but this is also a very mutative strength because it is an innovator strength or an express builder strength. So you're either an express builder or an innovator if you have this particular strength. And the 12 is the one voice of the individual that's really here to mutate the collective, to make a change in the collective. So as Leanne was talking about this sort of mutative change that's happening, we have two strengths, again, that are very mutative, this inner truth and this socialness. So Tuck, I know you have this particular strength. I would love to hear your insights or any insights that you may have about this particular strength of the 2212 that will now be activated throughout the month of August.
Laughingly say Katie barred the door when you said what's hidden is now given voice. No, yeah, it's interesting. I'm listening to you and I'm reflecting on what you said, Leanne, about us coming out of the 10 and the 15. And the code of behavior, like I'm even tired of my own behavior right now, but it's more of an anticipation of what's to come because I also have the 11 and 12 as my unconscious core essence and unconscious grounding balance. So it'll be interesting to see how I sense that in the environment, since that's going to be environmental. But for me, the 2212, the thought of, I watch people, there's no consistency here. I'll just say that in my environment, there's absolutely no consistency. On the one hand, we're being told to isolate. On the other hand, I can't even walk the beach right now because it looks like business as usual. And I'm actually really excited. I know what it feels like to have the 2212. I've shared copious times that it's like holding back a tsunami, like with what I feel and want to express emotionally. So it will be interesting to observe the outside world and whether or not they're able to stop and be present to and responsible to whatever the emotional wave is, or that hidden voice, whatever that information is that people want to get out. It's more like Katie barred the door, brace yourself. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
And
thank you.
Yeah. The other thing, and it's more, I'm curious for myself. I have the 33, the 7, and the 12. So I'm actually listening to you as well today, and that I'm highly intrigued that those are my voices.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you for that, Tuck. And Chris, is there anything that you would like to add?
I was typing responses to people in Facebook, so nope. How's that for
Love it.
Nothing to mutate here.
I have something to add.
Yes, please.
Just in terms of August and the environment and the weather report, in the 33, it's summer, it's sun time, you know, the weather is in terms of it's fire. It can warm up socialness, can warm up your throat to speak up. It can sort of relax your mind depending on your environment. It can also make you sweat. I mean, it's been really hot environment, you know, a cauldron sort of, so to speak. So it's both relaxing and pressure cooker at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you for adding that. You know, and you know, not only do we have this shift, right? And I love what you just said, Anna, with, you know, that this is like things are you know, potentially heating up, if you will, as well, with the, you know, with the environment, right? With the sun, but also we can see also what with Leanne, what was talking about as well, with heating up, if you will, with the mutation as well. So it's interesting. One of the, you know, we're shifting the environment, but we're also, again, shifting from, in a sense, this focus on form to the focus of relationship. We've also been focusing on leadership and leadership traits. And so the 7, we're going to bypass the 7 next week because we'll be in the 4 next week. So I wanted to talk a bit about the 7 as well. And I wanted to talk a bit about leadership. Now, there are leadership and political mechanics. Now, we think that we have made this up, but you know, we can actually find it within our design as well. So again, we're going to be moving into the 7. The 7 is actually a role trait as well, and it determines, in a sense, how you are designed, if you will, to based on your public role. Which is your profile. Based on your public role, this is also a part of how you are perceived or how you're designed to be a leader. Now, there are political mechanics, and it's interesting because, again, all of the political voices, if you will, and political mechanics are all in the throat as well. It's about manifestation. So we have individualism. We talked about individualism in the 20. So just as a way to wrap up the form, that is the 10-20. We can see this here. And individualism is really about individual leadership. We have democracy, which is the elected leader, which we took a look at last week in the 31, which is all about influence. And then we have the authoritarian. That's what we're taking a look at today in the 33. So this is leading from the past. This is leading through experience. And again, it can be, you know, leadership, as we're taking a look at leadership, it can be leadership for good or for bad. We also have the monarchy. We also took a look at that in the 45. So those are, in a sense, the 4 voices of the political mechanics. There we go. I can speak. We also have capitalism built in here, where you can see it, although there is no voice. The one voice is through monarchy. And we also have socialism here as well. So I just thought it was interesting, just kind of taking a look at, in a sense, the 4 voices of the political mechanics are all found here in form. Now we're moving into leadership. And there are 6 types of leadership. So again, just kind of in the next week, paying attention to leadership and what this is all about. And it's interesting that leadership is the first trait that really moves us into connecting, being social and bonding, right? So in order to be a leader, you also need to connect or bond or have a relationship with those that you lead. So we have the quality 1, which is about being an authoritarian. So it's about being an authority. We have quality 2, which is about being the Democrat or the elected leader. We have the 3, which is the anarchist, which is the rejection of institutionalized order. We have the abdicator. This is following the rule of law. We have the general, which is leadership in crisis. And we have the administrator, which is shared and justly apportioned power. There we go. So shared and justly apportioned power, right? So it's interesting, again, depending on what your public role is, there is going to be a different way that you're here to lead. So for example, my public role is the 1-3, right? So I'm here to be an authority. I also have the 3 of the anarchist and also the rejection of institutionalized order as well. So again, it's sort of interesting, you know, during this time, there's a lot of, you know, politics going on. There's a lot of political discussions. There's a lot of uncertainty around politics. So it's very interesting that we've been focused in that area, you know, during this time period. And we're, you know, as we shift, it actually starts with the 7, trait 7 of leadership. So this is something to pay attention to over the next week, because we'll be entering into this tomorrow. So kind of taking a look at and paying attention to yourself as a leader and how you are designed to lead, but also taking a look at the broader realm and taking a look at leadership in general as well, because I think we're at the precipice of understanding what is leadership and what is good leadership and what is not so good leadership as well. So I'd love to hear from our panel. If any of you want to add a little bit about what you see within these political mechanics and what we're moving into when we take a look at the 7.
I do have a quick question that's coming up. Sokari is asking, how do you know what type of leadership you have?
So take a look at your public role. So your public role is also your profile, right? So for example, I'm a 1-3, and you can take a look at that real quickly. If you take, for example, Chris, we can see Chris is a 5-1, right? So the core essence and grounding imbalance is a 5-1. For example, Anna is a 2-4, right? 2, whoops, I'm not showing it here. 2, I'm pointing at the wrong thing. 2 and 4 here, right? For example, Tuck is also a 5 and a 1, right? And let's see, Leanne here is a 1 and a 3. I am also a 1 and a 3. So you can take a look at those mechanics, and you can take a look at, all right, so I'm here to be an authority, and I'm also an anarchist as well, the rejection of institutionalized order. Both Leanne and I are that. And if we take a look at what Tuck and Chris, they're both here to be an authority, but also a general, a leadership in time of crisis as well. So that's how you would find it.
You know, I have something to add on. Since I am the 2-4, I'm a democratic leader, elected leader, which means I need some invitation, some permission from the collective. But the abdicator, to me, is a question of, you know, it says following the rule of law, but for me, it's what law? Is it human law, the laws of nature, my own personal law? I have found that that's really more the root of, at least the experience that I have, if I follow my own personal law, which is your design, your decision-making strategy, rather than the law, human-made laws.
Yeah.
And that's leadership is I think, more mutual, more of an exchange when it is natural law rather than human law.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for adding that, Anna, because it is, you know, that is a question. This is, and abdicating is like, what does the law say? You know, it's abdicating to something, in a sense, bigger than yourself. Yeah. Beautiful. And how about for you, Leanne?
I definitely recognize both aspects of this, the authoritarian and the anarchist. Most of my line qualities are in the 1 and the 3. So this is pretty much my whole life. I study and then I tear it down because I reject it, and then I study it some more, and then I get a foundation and I tear it down and I start all over again, and that's just how I lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like so much fun.
It's fun for me. It probably looks like a lot of work for others, but it's fun for me.
I love it. I love it. I'm like you, being an authority, right? The first line, studying, getting that foundational piece. But man, give me a crisis and let's go. I'm there.
Right. Nice.
So, yeah.
You know, what I see on here, Karen, that I've never seen before is that I'm a 5-1, so that's authoritarian. My 7 is in the first line, and I have the 1333, which here is authoritarian. So I have come to the conclusion and the epiphany today But I am an authority.
There you go.
Just now, you're just getting that now.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
And Tuck, by the way, is going to be teaching the BG5 Foundation course coming up in September. So, I mean, what a beautiful authority to learn from.
Yeah, definitely.
So again, this is something that you can put together. This is also something just to pay attention to, you know, again, as we go through this next week, because the focus of this next week is really going to be about leadership. Oh, and it looks like Susan is asking, can anyone talk about the anarchist in leadership? Do you want to say, Leanne, do you want to say a little bit more about what the anarchist is in leadership?
So this is the lower part of the hexagram. The third quality knows that there's a little bit out there. There's something out there. So it looks like my internet's
there you go.
unstable.
You're back.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So the anarchist is really, it sees that there's all these different institutions and planning and creation and all of that. And what it wants to do is it wants to tear it all down. And it really wants to lead from an internal process.
Oh, it looks like Leanne froze there.
It's not about an external process, it's an internal. Oh. Okay, sorry.
No problem.
So the 1, 2, and 3 is an internal leadership process. 4, 5, 6, external leadership process. So it really is about getting that solid foundation, being natural at it, and then coming out and doing the whole trial and error process of what the anarchy and what the third quality does. And it's bonds made, bonds broken, and it's not that it's wreaking havoc on the world. It is literally testing out what is going to work for us in the future and what is not going to work for us in the future based off of personal experience. Then it brings that to the collective, and then we move forward from there. Yeah. It's a fun process for me anyways. Yep. I love it.
I have that as well. And you described it beautifully, Leanne. And, you know, again, remember when we're taking a look at the third quality, it really is about finding out what doesn't work. So part of the leadership of this anarchy is really taking a look at finding those places where things don't work. So that you can start to discover and maybe change things and mutate things so that they can work, right? So it is, you know, it is about bringing change. It is about taking a look at what is not working. So
also,
hopefully,
it's about challenge. My daughter is a 3-5, and as a child, it was always why. You know, what's the value in that? Basically, you know, I don't have to do that. And it is very challenging, but it's to challenge form, it's to challenge validity of that pattern or that group or assumption or whatever. It's like shaking the tree to see what's strong and what isn't, what's useful, what isn't.
Exactly. Beautiful point. It is, in a sense, about challenging authority as well.
Yeah. I get that this is actually a much bigger discussion than what we had intended to talk about today, as far as we still haven't even got to the traits yet. But there is a question on the Facebook page. Linda is saying the 4 is an abdicator, which is defined as to give up or renounce authority, duties, and office, etc., especially in a voluntary, public, or formal manner. And then it says on the slide there, follow the rule of law. These seem contradictory. Could someone share what that is about?
Yeah. So it's abdicating to something, in a sense, bigger than yourself. right? So abdicating to, you know, as Anna was talking about earlier, abdicating to a natural law or personal law, or abdicating to, like, we don't know how should we lead? Let's take a look at, you know, what the law says, right? So it is, in a sense, instead of saying, okay, I know how to go, it's abdicating to, okay, what, you know, what do people want, or what is the law, or abdicating to something that in a sense is bigger than you.
Right.
Or it could be abdicating to your design instead of using mind or will or, you know, determination, all of those kinds of things. It's abdicating, like you said, Karen, to that higher, that bigger sense of order, which is your personal design, and abdicating to something in that way.
Yep, exactly. I hope that helps.
And also, when we walk through each one of these qualities of this seventh trait, so start at the first line, right? Authoritarian, then democrat, then anarchist. So what is the four abdicating to? What is right or what is wrong? What has been tested? You know, what works, what doesn't. So it's abdicating to that as well, because each one of those lines builds up and builds up and builds up to the general. So they can be a general. They've abdicated. Now they can be a general. They can lead based off of that. And then the administrator. So it's always taking, you know, the steps up the hexagram to see how does this move from the bottom up to the top.
Yep, exactly. So again, I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this 7 just because we have been looking through that in form. It is a conversation that's happening, and we're moving into the 7, you know, to start off August, and we're going to be moving into the 7 this week. So it's what to pay attention to this week. Now, the trait that we are currently in, whoops, I already went through here. Hold on one second. I did things a little bit out of order. Let me just go through this real quick. So what we're in right now is we're wrapping up trait 33, which is the witness. So this is about retreat. This is about privacy. This is the revelation of secrets. And this is the voice of I remember. So again, this is what wraps up form. So again, we've had all of these experiences, if you will, in form, and now we're wrapping it up through retreat and privacy and taking a look at what the secrets are that are revealed in taking a look at everything that we've taken a look at. So it's active withdrawal and the transformation of a weak position into a strength. It's also the need to be able to withdraw, the need to be able to reflect on what has occurred, what has happened, what the experiences have been. It's wisdom and experience, and it's shared through the voice of remembrance. So this is the voice. Remember, it's connected to the throat. So this is the voice of I remember. So it's the voice of remembrance. And retreat arises in the moment of uncertainty between a completed experience and what is a new one. So I found this is very, very interesting. Sort of it's what transitions us into, in a sense, this sort of next phase. It is transitioning us into this next environment. It's transitioning us into this next, you know, purpose fulfilled, and taking a look at connection and bonding. So it's that moment in between where we've completed the experience, but it's before we start a new experience, so we can really learn the lessons of what the experience was all about. And it's a pause. It's a pause to reflect on what's happened and determine what to take forward and renew your strength. So it's a time to rest, take care of yourself, renew your strength. Step away for a little bit. So I find it interesting, you know, in August, it's often a time that people take a vacation, right? And so we have this 33 of this time of retreat and renewal. And in the quiet moments of contemplation, that's where the most valuable lessons will come to the surface and allow you to reveal its truths. So this is also where, when we take pause, when we take time to reflect, when we take time to look back, right, we can start to make sense of how all of the pieces fit together. And that is when those valuable lessons, right, from what we have learned come to the surface. Right. So you may have noticed in this last week, I was just talking with my husband about this, right, that it's just been kind of quiet. I haven't really, we haven't really felt like, interacting. Right. And Nina is saying this explains the contemplative space I've been in this last week. Exactly. So I'd love to hear from our panel a little bit about either what you've been experiencing this last week or anything to bring some deeper insight into trait 33. And I know, Tuck, you have trait 33. You also have it as part of a strength as well. And Anna, it was just your birthday, right? So so this is your core essence as well. So so let's start with Tuck, and then I'd love to hear from Anna as well, with taking a look at what this witnessing is all about, this trait 33.
I was contemplating how challenging it used to be for me to give myself permission to retreat. I was so busy and being productive and getting to the next dot that when I was given time off work, or when I was given time like we're being given right now, I didn't know what to do with myself. Like I was almost spastic. I did not know what to do with myself. And what I have gotten over these years of maturation, in fact, I had 3 counselors in 3 different ways insist that I go to, in quotes, an ashram to get away from the distractions, to get away from everything, and to be able to journal and be able to reflect and be able to pull and glean the lessons. I know I say it a lot, keep the lesson, throw the experience away, but to truly gain the experience, the lessons from the experience, the wisdom, the revelations, the insights. I think retreat is precious. And now I know how come I was crying yesterday. I think I was at the end of the 6 days, coming to the end of the 6 days, in that I have been in my retreating process, looking at things and letting it go and bringing it to completion. I know, Chris, you were talking about the 56 being a stop codon. The 33 is as well. And that opportunity that has been here to bring things to completion, I think has been precious, or at least it has to me. I love my 33. I love remembering things that allow me to take wisdom into the future, not hang on to stuff that makes me feel bad when I say remember, but remember the lessons and the wisdom of what's happened.
I love that, Tuck. Really beautifully said. Thank you. And Anna, you have this as your life work theme. And again, happy birthday. I would love to hear from you a little bit more about your experience, especially in having 33 as part of your life work theme as well.
Yeah, and it's my core essence. And just like Tuck said, I love my 33, but I had to befriend it at one point. I remember years ago, I was in my 20s, and there was a lot of pressure to be, busy, just like she was saying. And I had a hammock on my porch, my front porch. But the mailman would come about 12 o'clock, which was my lunchtime, when I would sit in the hammock. And I never wanted him to see me there, because I thought in my mind, I thought he would think I was lazy. But I was a very hard worker, of course, and not just busy, but devoted with a lot of things. So I would always go inside till the mailman came and then left. And a friend of mine was sitting on the porch with me one day, and he said, well, I would love it if the mailman saw me relaxing. And it was just enough permission to realize that was like the first aha, literally, contemplating what the 33 really is. I mean, I I didn't know human design or BG5 or any of that at that time. But it was the first level of permission to say, oh, that's why I'm doing this, you know, because I had a beautiful garden in the front yard and all this stuff. And it was my contemplation in the middle of the day, my relaxation, you know, where things would occur to me for the next project or whatever. I also have the 2, which is the hermit, which is the, you know, I like to have my private time. I like being social as well, but as far as regenerating, becoming clear about things, the 33 to me is very a nice reflection, a rest time, where things just happen. I don't have to work in my head, which can be very busy. It's like all the things I've been thinking sort of fall into place naturally when I give myself time. There's another piece I'd like to add here, which is more of the collective, because the 33 is about sorting, experiencing, and then sharing your experience. And because I was a therapist for many, many years, now coach, I work with people in transition, both birthing, dying, transition in relationships, work, all kinds of stuff. This is a transition trait from the endings, like we were speaking before, and the beginning. There's a space there. And transitions can be really tricky because you can lose things during a transition. If you think about going from your car into the house, you can lose your car keys or the groceries or what your dog runs off, whatever, you know. If you're not paying attention, attending, you can lose things. And as Tuck was saying, you can also let go of things you don't need anymore and keep the information. And a lot of times, especially when I was working with people towards the end of their lives, it was really important to listen to their stories, because that's how they would start articulating what they could keep energetically and let go of.
Yeah, I think that's such a beautiful point. It is that pause before the next thing, and you know, the pause, you know, before death, as you were just talking about, or the pause just to be able to take in and take a look at what to let go and what to hold on to. Really beautifully shared. Thank you so much, Anna. And Chris, you have this too, right?
Yeah, I do. And in the 5th line. And so for me, I think about it, whenever I have an experience and I go through the cycle with my 5342, and then this is also experiential sharing, as my colleagues have pointed out, that I will, whenever I have an experience, I'm always thinking about how does this matter to the world? How does what I just experienced, how can I share that in a way that will allow other people to let go or understand themselves? And so the 33 has been such a beautiful gem to help me see what, again, like Tuck said, you know, keep the lesson, toss away the experience. It's really interesting. I have CRS. I can't remember shit. Like, I can't remember things often. I can't remember the details, but I can remember what it felt like. And I can remember and take the essence of something and then share it in a different way. And so it's just, that's how it works for me in this one. And I love that 33 too. I can 33 also. I can feel when it's time for retreat, and I'm like, yep, I have nothing to say because I don't know yet. It's gotta move around a little bit, throw things out, and then here it is.
Yeah. Very beautifully said, Chris. And just like what Tuck was saying, right? It's keep the lesson and throw away the experience, right? So it's you may not remember all of the details, but you remember what the ultimate lesson was all about.
Yeah.
Really love that. And Nina was saying, I've been feeling in that in-between transition. I'm not exactly sure of what the next thing will be. And so that may be something that you maybe have, experienced throughout this week. It's like, maybe it's time to end this. Maybe it's time to do something else, right? It's just this, this period of retreat. And Nina also said, how does this matter in the world? Excellent question. So thank you for that, Chris. Yeah.
One more piece I want to add is this reflection when it's really integrated, when you've really contemplated enough to where you know what's valuable, what isn't. It's actually a frequency, which is what gives your voice the story that somebody will listen to, or the value of your experience. Isn't always from the words, it's in the frequency, because people can tell, oh, they really did have that experience, and now I can learn secondhand through their experience, and it's valuable to the next person, because it's part of how the collective gains wisdom, is by each person using that 33, if they have it, reflecting, articulating, and raising that frequency for everybody else.
Yep.
Exactly. Can I jump on that for a sec? I want to add something. Have you ever been on Facebook or in a group, or you watch a speaker and they have not allowed that frequency to, like, they haven't become it, and so they're processing with the audience, and you're like, there's a difference between being vulnerable and like, oh, that's not appropriate. Have you ever had that experience? That is somebody who has not spent time when they're 33. They have not yet taken the time. They're like, oh, I just got to share this, and they go out and share it when it hasn't fully formed yet. And so if you ever walk away from something and you're like, ooh, should I have not said that? Might be that place where you go, yeah, maybe I should have retreated a little bit more before I share that. Just a little note as a speaker, and that is my pet peeves.
Yeah. I love that what you said, Anna, with it really being that frequency as well.
But you can reveal secrets too that way. Just look. Oops.
Oopsie. Yep. I did not say that out loud. I shouldn't have said that out loud. My inside voice.
Right. So it is that witnessing. It is that revelation of secrets. It's the voice of I remember. And it is, retreat and the privacy piece as well. And the quality that we happen to be in today is quality 6. So we're wrapping up this time in being in trait 33. And quality 6 is about disassociation. Remember, quality 6 is always about the leader, and this is also the ability to let go, right? So what we have been talking about is this is sort of that transition, and Anna had talked about this too, as this, this is, and Tuck had talked about, this is a stop codon, right? So it's stopping, it's that pause before we move into something else. So it really is that ability to let go. And the elevation is the ability to let go in retreat and to enjoy privacy. And this will, the will to concentrate on the revitalization and not be handicapped by persistent recriminations. So it's really about just kind of letting go, relaxing, sitting in the pool, retreating, just to being able to just let everything go. Now, of course, the challenge is the inability to completely let go. The ability to shed the larger framework that participates in the retreat, leaving a nagging doubt that hampers the revitalization, right? So again, it's, are you able to, in a sense, just kind of let go? We've been going through you know, it really as a planet, as a world, just a crazy, crazy time. And in a sense, we're now headed into something new. So it's kind of like a letting go of all of the past, all of the crazy stuff that's been happening. How can we move forward? This is part of the 7, right? Moving into the 7 is taking a look at leadership moving forward into the future. You know, so I think it's very interesting that here we're taking a look at the past, wrapping everything up from the past, but the past, when you've had that opportunity to revitalize, rejuvenate, right? Then you can step forward and use the past to inform where we're going to move forward into the future. And again, as we move into the 7 is all about moving forward and what leadership looks like moving forward into the future. So anything anyone would like to add to wrap this piece up?
I had this thought, you know, I'm here at the beach, right? This is where I live. And the experience of people going on vacation, and when they get home, they have to take a vacation. They have to retreat from their vacation. So that's what I was, when I was looking at the challenge, that was what came to mind, was people come here and they're so busy trying to have fun, they're unable to truly relax in that time of retreat. That's what was coming to me with the challenge.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There's also a, you know, one of the key words was transformation. And in the 6, this process of dissociation is, you know, a leaf doesn't fall off a tree in the fall until it's ready. And sometimes you can't dissociate. Sometimes you can't revitalize. You can't let go until there's an organic completion somehow with all the variables in your environment or internal environment or whatever. And when we're talking about politics, authority, leadership, I see this right now in, at least in the US especially, but worldwide with this whole idea of the pandemic and what people are going through. There's this portion here where we know something's not quite right. We don't know quite what to do with it. And there's this interim restlessness, unless you're okay with not knowing. You know, a lot of people, when you get to that uncertainty, that transition point, it can be 3 seconds or years long, but we're at a point of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And we know something's old and not working, but we don't know quite how it's shaping up. This is a really very precious zone here. And you can interfere with it and push and pull and all that, or you can sort of just do your retreat or do your inner work and sort of let things around you happen. I always thought it was an oxymoron, let go, because it's to me, it's more letting loose, letting down, letting things go on that I don't have to control. And that transition from the 6 is a level of end, you know, and the maturity to move on.
Yeah, beautifully, beautifully said. Thank you, Anna. All right, well, just to wrap things up, first of all, I just wanted to very quickly bring up our celebrity, which is Lonnie Anderson, which is an actress. And the life work theme, when we're taking a look at the 33-6, quality 6, is your life work theme is refinement. You know that it's not enough to have and protect a home. Life is enriching and making it beautiful, and a beauty that heals. And, you know, that's one of the things that she was, you know, known for as well, was her beauty. So she was, she's an American actress, and she's known for her role as a receptionist on CBS's sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati, which earned her 3 Golden Globe Awards and 2 Emmy Awards as well. So always like to bring that up, you know, taking a look at who the celebrity is and what they're all about as well. So, again, you know, we heard from Chris and Anna and Tuck, who all have the 33. Again, if you are interested in getting more information, if you want to find out what is happening as we go through each of the days, you can go through BG5 Live, and it'll give you sort of what the background is. So if as we're taking a look at moving through leadership, you can start to take a look here. But again, if you go to our website, you scroll down, you'll find the BG5 Live. You can also get a free report. Again, you can just go to BG5businessinstitute.com. You can also find our past episodes in the free resource library as well. And we do have classes that are coming up in September. So Tuck's going to be teaching the BG5 Foundation course. We have other courses that are going to be coming up as well. Leanne's going to be teaching the Foundation course coming up as well. So check out our courses and our programs. We would love to have you join us. So once again, thank you for each of you who have spent your time taking a look and diving in. We've covered a lot of information today, so we're going a little bit longer today just because we have so many panelists and again, just a really, really rich conversation. So what I would like to do just to wrap everything up is I would love to hear from each of our panelists, and what I'd like you to share is what should people pay attention to or be aware of in moving from this retreat and moving into what leadership is all about when we're taking a look at the 7. So what are some things to sort of pay attention to moving forward into this week? And you know, what are some ways that we can kind of wrap up, in a sense, where we've been in being in this retreat, right? Letting things go, releasing things before we move forward. So, would you like to start, Tuck?
Sure. Let me go off the fly here. Coming out of 33, what comes to mind for me is being the observer of what's happening. And there's an incredible opportunity, as Anna said, to stay present to and be witness to the events that are happening. And for me, I'll talk about myself personally, for me to discover what this experience means to me in my life. And moving forward into the 7, how do I want to lead myself? How do I want to be my own authority? And then going through the rest of the lines, which you went through so beautifully, Leanne. But that's what comes to me. Take the experiences, take the lessons from the experiences, and then go within and see how best your life runs in your being your own inner authority and leading yourself. That's just what comes to me off the cuff.
Love that, Tuck.
Pun intended. See self, Tuck self. Now,
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Tuck. And thank you so much for joining us today.
absolutely.
Great having you. And Anna.
I think Tuck said it beautifully, because the key is witnessing, you know, coming out of witnessing yourself and then moving into witnessing what's around you, what's happening is one of the keys to good leadership, being able to move forward and advance yourself and other people in unison, you know, from that point of witnessing, sort of this back and forth assessment of what's correct, what's the way here.
Beautifully said. And again, Anna, thank you so much for being with us. And again, happy birthday as well.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Wonderful. And Chris.
You know, I was having the thought, there were a lot of questions about the different line qualities and such a rich discussion about leadership. And in this retreat, I was thinking the exact same thing that Tuck spoke to, which is, you know, retreating and then how you lead yourself out of this, you know, from what you learned. But I'd like to just say that if this is something that you want to know more about these things, we cover so much in the foundation course, and both Tuck and Leanne I'm teaching one right now. So it's super fun. I'm really loving it. And both Tuck and Leanne are incredible teachers. And so what we are talking about and learning about and how all of this goes together is such a big foundational piece that you learn in foundation. So I actually just want to do a shameless plug for my colleagues and for the foundation course. And so if it speaks to you at all, check it out, because man, there's so much cool, rich discussion that is happening in there, and rich learning as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Chris. And, you know, like I said, we're just barely touching the surface, right? When we're talking about, you know, everything that we're talking here about here at the BG5 Live. You know, if you really want to go in depth, if you love this information, you know, again, both Tuck and Leanne are amazing instructors. We have, you know, all of our instructors are really amazing. So really take a look at it, dive into it, experiment with it. So we'd love to have you. Thank you, Chris. And Leanne.
You know, I would love to repeat exactly what all three of you ladies just said, and also remember both of these traits are collective. So before you share your experience, or before you verbalize and share your leadership, it needs to be invited, and you need to be able to use your decision-making strategy to present that to the world, because that's the only way we can, you know, empower people and share and support and let our designs be what they are, is when we use our decision making strategies. So whatever the oversight was that we're learning in the 33, and whatever the planning is in the 7 to move us forward, this is all collective, but it has to come from decision making strategy. So important. So awesome. Yeah. Thank you again, ladies. It was really fun. I loved hearing the 33 from the people that are experiencing it. And Karen, again, thank you for asking. And I love all the details that you bring here. So awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you, Leanne. And thank you for joining us as well. This has been an amazing discussion. And I am so grateful for each of you who are watching us live, and for each of our panelists as well. You all just brought such depth and such insight into what we've been exploring. And again, you know, just to leave everything off, just like Leanne said, it really is ultimately about following your decision-making strategy. And as we go through this next week, take a look at what your role is as a leader, as well as taking a look at leadership in general, because that's what the theme is going to be all about. And it's going to be exciting to see what this shift in the background frequency is going to be all about as well. So looking forward to that. So again, I feel like we're on this precipice of some kind of major shift, major change. So it'll be interesting to really witness that. All right, everyone, it has been our absolute pleasure. Thank you. And we'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.